Okay, helps if you turn the mic on. There you go. Hello, everybody. So this is the first of a series of workshops that I'm going to do. Well, not a series, but a live sort of Q&A type thing. So if anyone is interested in TrainWaybills, specific aspects of TrainWaybills and things like that, then they can come and ask their questions. I can demonstrate things if they're having trouble setting particular things up. I can show them how to do that. But I'm going to have a little run through again, just for those people that haven't seen TrainWaybills before and just want to get like a real feel. I mean, we've got a tutorial on the page which kind of shows you the basics of it, but it doesn't really show you like an in-depth on how to do things. So I'm going to have a little run through. I've done this a few times for people, but like I say, I am here. If someone wants to ask any questions, I can see the chat. So if you've got any questions to ask, and hopefully I can answer them live, and we'll do it from there. So what I'm going to do on the screen, you should see my cursor, which you can. So this is, let me just show you my layout at the moment. So my layout consists of 6 areas like this. Ignore the staging yard. That was I was just playing with that. So it's basically these 6 here. So I've got High Creek Yard, which is my main classification yard. This is basically where everything starts its journey on the layout. And then you've got a main line that comes out of the yard that goes to Pine Meadows, which is like a farm area. There's obviously cattle pens there and stuff like that, so that's where a lot of produce will be put onto cars and sent to relevant places along the line. You've got Pine Hill, which is like the town along the main line, and that also has a dockside wharf, so I kind of use that as a little bit of a staging siding, and I'll show you how I've set that up. But basically cars will get dumped there and then instantly turn around and come back out again. So I'll show you how you can use that in a waybill, and how to turn cars around quickly there. And then the final destination, as I say, ignore the end bit there, but the final destination is Walnut Ridge, which is a mine. So the reason why it's at the end of the layout there is because it's nice to have the coal traffic sort of rumbling through all the towns and everything going to the High Creek Yard. Plus it's way out there, in the hills, which is obviously where most of the mines are going to be. So it's not a prototypical line, but it kind of shows you what, if it was real, sort of where everything would be placed. And obviously what trains would do is they would come along the main line, they would do a turn at Walnut Ridge and then head back to High Creek Yard. Now, as you see, there's actually 2 different branch lines off the main. One of them is Horseshoe Falls, and this is where all the logging would take place. There's not a lot there apart from the logging, but I will show you some different waybills that go there, and it's not all to do with logs coming from Horseshoe Falls, but there's also some other interesting waybills that I've created to go to and from Horseshoe Falls. So that's a dead end, so that'll be a turn and back to the yard. And then you've got this Rockwood subdivision, which is kind of like the main place where all the actual industry is. So this would be my power plant where all the coal traffic would go. There's also the lumber yard is there, and there's a food factory as well. So obviously things like Pine Meadows that produce cattle, that cattle would be picked up at Pine Meadows, get classified at High Creek Yard to then get sent down to Rockwood subdivision to the meat packing plant and food factory and stuff like that. So that kind of gives us an interest. It's not just picking up from one place, delivering to another. It would be picking up on the main line, getting sorted out at High Creek Yard. So there's a lot of classifying on this layout, and then they would go down to Rockwood subdivision. So I'm going to do a run. I haven't staged this at all. This is car cards and waybills. So unlike where you would have a switch list, and at the beginning technically of an operating session you would actually stage everything out as to what's going to happen. Car cards and waybills bring in a random factor to your layout, so it sort of makes it very interesting in the fact that you don't know what's going to happen until you get there. Well, you can actually see what's going to happen before you get there, but what I mean is when when you get freight going to and fro, it's controlled by a waybill rather than someone physically picking where it's going to and fro. So the system that we've designed will do all that for you. So at the moment, this is our layout. You may have seen it on the various tutorials, but we've got the left-hand menu here, which is all your setting up of the layout, etc, etc. We're not going to be using that so much in this tutorial. We've got our navigation menu in the middle, which I just showed you brings up the map, and then we've got our driver menu here, which the 0 is how many cars we have in our consist, and then obviously the driver name. When I click that, there's 4 basic parts to the system that you would need to operate. So basically, when you turn up to someone's layout, the only thing you really need to know is how to operate the navigation menu and how to operate the actual operations menu as well. So it is actually quite straightforward. So as you see, we have no cars at the moment. We are at High Creek Yard. The driver menu needs the ability to put your own icon. Your own icon. Oh, you mean your own badge for your layout? Yeah, and that has been suggested. There's a few other things that I'm doing at the moment. I think that's probably more appropriate in the map. But yeah, we can put like a mini one there as well. So we'll work with that. That's actually quite a basic thing compared to the other stuff that I'm working on. But yeah, that's definitely workable. So let me, right, back to the map. So as you see, High Creek Yard is greyed out. All the others are in the orange colour for TrainWaybills. So the greyed out section means that's where we currently are. That's where the system thinks we are. It's also underlined, and this specifies anywhere on the map. If it's underlined, it means that it is either a staging yard or it's a classification yard. So it has the ability to deliver empty cars there, and also to give it new waybills. If you see, the staging yard that I've been playing with at the end here is also underlined. So that also, if I created a car, when it's empty, I can either send it to High Creek Yard or I can send it to the staging yard. So you've got that option if you wanted. Now, I think there was a question about what if I wanted like a storage yard? Well, we can actually change that. Instead of it being somewhere where you can send cars when they're empty, is you can take that ability away and just have it as a storage yard. So you can dump trains in there and they won't be affected by the rest of the system. So you can literally just use it for storage of cars and just pull them out when you need them. But anyway, so we're going to start technically an operation. First, we're going to need a train. So the way I have this laid out is I'm going to look at the consist that I currently have at High Creek Yard. So I'm going to look at this. Now, the consists here are basically classified into tracks that I've named. So the classification main, I've actually named it classification name just so I know which ones are the classification tracks. That has 11 cars in it. The Rockwood sub has 6 cars, Horseshoe Fall has 6, and there's an empty car track as well, which currently has 1. So that should be straightforward to understand. We're actually going to take the main train here. So what I can do is I can pull that consist, and what I would physically do is go to the classification main track and pull all 11 cars out of that track. So I can pull the entire consist, and as you see, I now have 11 cars in my consist. I can check that by going to your consist, and as you see, I can scroll along and I can see all the cars. Now, recently we added the ability to organise these cars into order. At the moment, the way that they are organized in this list is by its destination and by its spot. So for instance, all the Pine Meadow stuff are going to be grouped together. As you see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars for Pine Meadows, and they're all grouped together. None of the other cars in this consist are for Pine Meadows. Also, as you see, the 2 stock pen cars are grouped together. Now, one way of operating the system is, because they're in order of where they're going to be dropped off, etc., you could actually reshuffle your consist to this order. Okay, so when you leave your classification yard, they're actually in this order. If you don't want to do that, we have a new way of doing it, which is if you hold this section of the car, of the card, you'll see they all turn red. Now this means it's now in sort of editing mode, and you can literally pick a car up and you can drag it up and down and move it to wherever you need it, drop it, and that's now in its location, and they're all organized into their order. And turn it off just by the same, by clicking and holding. That may change because it's a new feature. I've actually got some feedback about it, and there may be some changes to that. So that at the time of this going live and recording, that's how it operates. But as I say, that may change. So these are all the cars that we're gonna take along. Now we'll do the classifying bit when we come back, because there's more to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to switch. So this will show you how easy it is to use TrainWaybills when you're operating your layout, because previously you'd use physical car cards and waybills, or you would use a switch list, and you would have to basically, organize your cards, and you would have to actually manipulate the cards to do what you want. This takes care of everything for you. So pretty much this is just telling you what to do, and then you as the engineer would have to do the instructions. So let me demonstrate it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go from High Creek Yard and we're going to go up to Pine Meadows. So, we would physically drive that on the layout. Once we arrive at Pine Meadows, we click that, and it's now giving us like a mini switch list for Pine Meadows. And if you notice, it's only giving us the cards that are relevant for Pine Meadows as well. We're not interested in absolutely every single card that we have in our consist, which you would if you're using physical cards. This one actually only gives you the information that you need for this particular location. So as you can see, we've got an eastbound pickup. Remember the layout, east and west. Pine Hill is east, so this is going to Pine Hill, to the barge loading track, so that would be an eastbound pickup. This one's going back to High Creek Yard. Now if you remember, High Creek Yard's where we just come from, so that's our westbound. So we can actually leave that for our journey westbound, or if you've got a larger layout, your instruction would be to head east up the track and only pick up the eastbound cards. And then there may be another train coming in the opposite direction, only picking up the westbound cars. So, this would actually integrate with both trains simultaneously live as well. So, for instance, if that westbound train was actually at Pine Meadows with you at the same time, as you pick up the eastbound cars, the engineer that's doing the westbound stuff would actually see those cards disappear from their device. So whether they're using a phone or a tablet, they would actually see those cards disappearing from their device live. So it is interactive in that way. So we've got some setouts. We've got a couple of stock pens to go in. We've got grain mill and silos. And we've got two grain mill and silos. So as you see, we've got one stock pen to pick up. So what we'll do is we'll physically pull that out of the stock pens. So once we've physically pulled stock car 506 from the stock pens on our layout, which is the exciting bit for us as as layout owners, I now, if I was on someone else's layout that had physical car cards and waybills, I would have to put that in the correct place. I would probably have to manipulate the other cards that are in the pockets at the location. They may require me to turn the waybill over straight away, things like that. With TrainWaybills, you don't have to worry about all that. All I have to do is tell it that I've picked it up, and that's it, and it's done. I don't have to worry about what card what happens to the waybill itself, where the cards go, I don't have to worry about any of that. It completely takes care of it all for you. Likewise, if you're setting out, so now I can grab stock car 501 and 502 from my consist, and I can push them into the stock pens. Once I've done that, I just tell the system, yep, I've dropped that, yep, I've dropped that, and that's it. That's all done. So like we said, we're going to leave the High Creek Yard, the westbound one, we're going to leave that there for our return journey. Yeah, it seems quite complicated, but if you just look at what I'm doing, it actually simplifies it. So if you're looking into car cards and waybills, let me tell you, as a big user of car cards and waybills, this is far less complicated, far less complicated. Even, as I say, one of our beta testers just had a staging yard and one location, but they wanted, all the industries to do something, and this made a big difference to those operations. So yeah, once you get around it, as I say, just watch, because it is actually quite simple. So like for instance, this, right? You've got your consist. It's telling me because these cards are red, I need to set them out. So you look for the gondola 906 and the gondola 919 in your consist that you have sitting at this place, and it's telling you to set them out. So what you do is you drive them and you put them, deliver to the grain mill and silos track. So I would deliver those to the grain mill and silo. I would tell the system I've set those out, and that's it. It's all taken care of. Now those cars that I've just set out will now sit there for a predetermined time that's set out in the waybill that it currently has. So it can sit there for a long time, it can sit there for a short time. That's all in the design of the waybill, but it won't tell you to pick them up until those cars are ready. So you can have a really fast turnaround of traffic, or you can really slow it down so it makes it more interesting for you to switch. So like I say, my particular one, I'm only picking up eastbound cars at the moment. Here's the westbound car. I'm not going to pick that up, but you'll see we'll pick it up on the way back. So basically, my time at Pine Meadows is now complete. I can now head up the line, and again, if you're running a dispatcher or something like that on a larger layout, you would call for a request to head further up the line. But this is our own little layout, so we can just travel up it. We're the only ones on the main, so off we go. We've finished at Pine Meadows. We're now going to head up to Pine Hill. And like you said, if you've just got a small layout, you may just have this kind of thing. You may just have a staging yard and one location, in which case you just go to the location, do your switching, take whatever cars you've got left, go to the staging yard. Now you're in the staging yard, you may set that train out and pick up a different consist, head out of the staging yard and go into your location, and it will tell you what to do with all the cars automatically. You don't have to worry about it. So it will give you the instructions of what you need to do. For example, I'm going to go to Pine Hill. This is quite a busy place. Let's see what it says. Here we go. So all the green ones are the pickups, and all the red ones are the set outs. And that's it. So that I've highlighted in some podcasts that there's different ways of switching. Some people just like to I turn up with a train and I'll just put a couple of boxes over here. I'll pick up those couple of boxes. That's all well and good for a start, but it gets boring real quick, real quick. Let me tell you. The other thing is you can roll dice and things like that, which is all well and good. That brings into randomization and things like that. But the problem with that is it's not taking care of the commodities. It's not physically picking up one commodity and delivering it to another place. So, although there's randomization there, you lack realism. This, or I should say physical car cards and waybills, actually brings a lot of realism and purpose to your switching. This simplifies that. This makes it so much easier. Let me show you. For example, I'm going to switch the barge loading track. I'm going to switch the barge loading track. Hang on a sec, sorry. Right, can you guys just give me a second? I've got to go take care of everything. Such is live streaming. I'll be right back. Don't worry. I will be right back. Give me a second. Sorry. Sorry guys, such is live streaming. I thought I heard some commotion in the house, but no, it wasn't. I was just hearing things. So yes, so this will simplify things. Let me just read the chat a sec. Okay, so on a layout like mine, each industry is considered a location rather than location being towns. No, a location is this kind of thing. A location is like a staging yard and the town, and the industries will actually be tracks. They'll be considered tracks. I can show you all of that as we go. Yeah, the Paul's actually, I managed to convert Paul from a switch list user to using this, and it is, I've used switch lists before, and although they have quite a lot of structure to them, they can get quite boring quite easily. I mean, literally you have a list of things to do, and then when you've done it, I mean, it's good fun. This brings a whole nother level, because this is more like you get customer orders, right? I get an order, for example, let's just take this card here, this box car, right? It's currently needing to go to High Creek Yard to the team track with some tools. So what's happened is this is currently in the machine shop, right? So what's happened is this box car's arrived empty. It's gone to the machine shop, it's picked up some tools, and it's now going to go and deliver them to High Creek Yard. So this box car has been given an actual purpose to be at the machine shop and to go to High Creek Yard. And you can customize all of this. So there's no presets. You can say, right, I want it to go there. I want it to pick up this. I want it to take it to there, and all these kind of things. Okay, so let me just show you how that works. So for instance, so this barge loading track, I kind of treat the barge loading like a staging yard. These are actually set to whatever I set out right now. The next train that arrives will be picking them up, so it's an instant turnaround. So I treat it almost like a staging yard. So I'm going to empty the barge track every time a train turns around. It empties the barge track. So it's telling me what to pick up: 121, 504 and 807. I don't actually have to look for those, because I know that the 3 cars that are currently sitting in my barge track are all to be picked up. So I can just quite happily pick those up and not even have to look at them. So I'm going to empty the barge track. Once I've pulled them out, I can just go like this: pick up, pick up, pick up. Okay, I've now taken care of those cards. I don't have to deal with waybills. I don't have to deal with the car cards. It's all taken care of by the system. So I actually have some that are going in the barge track, the barge loading. I've got a reefer 129, a flat car 415, and a stock car 506. So I find those cars in my consist, and I put them into the barge loading track. Once I've done that, I can set it out, set it out, set it out. And it's as easy as that. Now they've been set out, the system will take care of that car, and it will spit it back out when it's needed. Now, as I said, my barge track is an instant turnover, so the next time they will appear is on the next train that arrives at Pine Hill. They will be picking those up, and they will have a new commodity on, or they might be coming back to the yard empty, etc., etc. All that is taken care of. You don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is drive your train and do what the screen tells you to do. So for instance, Pine Meadows, that's actually a westbound. I'm not done going eastbound yet, so I'm going to leave that for my westbound. That's a westbound as well, so I'm going to leave that. I am going to pick up this one from the brewery, which is going to Walnut Ridge. Now, Walnut Ridge is actually the next place that I'm going on my layout. I'm heading this way, yeah. So I can pick. I'm going to need that, so I can pick that up. So I pull into the brewery track and I pull 809 from the brewery, and I pick that up like that. It's now in my consist and showing here. Ah, okay. You were naming the industries, not treating them as a town. Yeah, I'll show you that. In fact, I can do that right now. So if we go, when you're setting up, what you do is you set your map up, right? Now the map is a location on your layout. So if you've just got a small layout and you're just dealing with a staging yard, like the other person said there, they've got a staging yard rounding a U loop and then going to a location with all their industries, and all they want to do is go backwards and forwards. You would literally just have these two. You would have a staging yard and you would have your location, or it can be the other way around, either way. And that's it. So you would put staging yard, or you may want to call that something else. You may want to call that, west of London or something, or West Mainland, or you can call it anything you like. But that would be your staging yard. And then you've got your main town, whatever the town is called, or village or area, whatever you want to call it. It's just that one thing. Then what you do is you go into your tracks here, which is the next thing you do. You go into, say for instance, the staging yard. I haven't actually set it up yet. So what I would do is set up my tracks, and I would give each track a name. Now, you may want to label your tracks for the particular train that it's handling. So you could call this coal traffic, for example. So every time you go out with some coal traffic, if you've got like a full coal train that goes out, picks up some coal stuff, comes back, you may want to use one single track for that train that just goes backwards and forwards. You can name it anything you like. Don't worry about track spot size and all that kind of stuff. You can add that all later. You don't have to fill that in, so you can just leave it as the default, and it will take care of it for you. Yeah, it's not going to mess anything up. Or you can just simply call it track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, etc. Now, that's for the staging yard. When it comes to your actual location, you want to give this the industry name. So, if you've got like a warehouse, you would call it warehouse, right? And that would basically accommodate a track in front of a warehouse that would take, 3 or 4 box cars, or maybe 2 box cars. If you want to treat that warehouse, so say you've got 2 doors on the front of a warehouse and you want goods in and goods out, you want to specifically name spots, you would do that here. Okay, so you can have a track that deals with the warehouse, or you can call that warehouse in goods, or you could call it warehouse door 1, warehouse door 2, etc. And then when it comes to because your out would be loaded, right? Coming out, and you're in. Remember, it can't go from in to out, yeah, while it's sat there. So your in would be stuff that's getting delivered to the warehouse. The warehouse could then, like, you might have, for instance, food coming to the warehouse. If it's like a food packaging warehouse, you might have the actual food material coming to the warehouse on the indoor, and then you might have packaged food coming out of door 2, outdoor, whatever, on another waybill. Yeah, so it allows you to use the 2 separate doors if you're going to do that. If you just want to treat it as one warehouse, then just call it warehouse, and that means you can deliver it to any door on the warehouse. There's no particular spots. Yeah. Coors Brewery has multiple spurs, and it's large enough location where I have another location called Westbound Industries. Yeah. So yeah, for instance, yeah. Also, I've got one called Coal Tipple. All right. Now, I'm not going to put coal tipple track 1, coal tipple track 2, coal tipple track 3, because you're not going to physically deliver the coal cars to a particular tipple track. Excuse me. Too much talking. You're not going to deliver to a particular tipple track. What you're going to deliver to is the coal tipple as a whole. So what you would do is you call it just coal tipple, and then you can deliver it to any one of the, say, 3 tracks that you have or 4 tracks that you have at the coal tipple. So it all depends on how you want to run your industry. If you want to run it as just one place that you can drop stuff off or pick stuff up from, just call it whatever the industry is, like coal tipple. You can have it as a track, which is like the warehouse example that I gave, or you can have it as a particular spot. Any one of those 3 you can put in here. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, I'll go up here. I've got some things here. Here's my coal tipple. So I've got the coal tipple. I've got a clay loading spot. That's just one spot. The coal tipple has, like I say, 3 tracks. The tank car loader is one spot because there's only one place you can put a tank car, which is at the tank loader, which is on a team track. But I've got the team track as well. So the team track can handle pretty much any traffic that's getting delivered to the mine. But the tank car loader can only handle a tank car at that one spot. I can't put it on the rest of the team track because it doesn't have the ability to get unloaded at the team track. It only has the ability to get unloaded at the car loader. So I can specify that. So when you're, say you've just pulled your consist out of your staging yard and you've turned up to a mine like this and you've got a tank car on, it has to be delivered to the car tank loader. It has to be delivered to that spot. Now, if it can't be delivered to that spot, we do have off spotting as well, which you can completely, the system completely takes care of for you. So you would basically drop that off at that location. It doesn't have to be at the spot. You would basically put it in a siding somewhere nearby, and you would tell the system, I haven't delivered this yet, but it's at the location, right? So you can leave it off spot. And then later on, when that spot becomes available, that tank car can then be moved into its correct spot. Again, TrainWaybills takes care of all of that for you. You don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is do what the system tells you to do and then tell it what you've done. And that's it. And it takes care of everything else for you. So with a point-to-point layout, how do you set up those connectors to your different locations? Well, point-to-point layout is exactly what I've got here. So these are your locations. So like I say, if you've just got a layout where you've got a staging yard on one side, or say you don't have a staging yard, right? Say you've just got 2 locations. Say all I've got is Walnut Ridge and Pine Hill. You can go backwards and forwards to Walnut Ridge and Pine Hill, and that's it. Yeah. So traffic could be going from here. So this might be like I've got like a barge, yeah, a wharf, and it picks up stuff and it takes it up the line and it goes to a brewery, for example. And then the brewery takes care of all the traffic that's going to it. And then you pick up all the beer that's coming from the brewery. And then you go back to here and you deliver it to the barge. Then you pick up more stuff that's going to the brewery. You drive up here, you go to the brewery, you deliver blah, 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 and the system will tell you what you're dropping off, what you're picking up, where you're going, etc., etc. So that's how you would do a point-to-point. To be honest, I would say 95% of layouts that use car cards and waybills are all point-to-point, whether that be from a staging yard or not. Mine doesn't have a staging yard. Ignore that. Ignore that. I've just put that as where I was programming something. This is my layout without a staging yard. So I don't have a staging yard. I have these 6 locations on different levels. And my basic staging yard is, like I said, this Pine Hill situation where I've got the barge. And that turns around traffic really quick and enables me to take stuff there, turn it around and bring it back out as well. So that was how you operate a point-to-point. And I'll show you how to do the waybills as well. Yeah, you can have an interchange, and you can set that up as a staging yard as well. Yeah, like Paul said. Yeah, if you actually want to, so if you've got a layout and you want your layout to basically interact with another railroad, you would actually either use a staging yard, or like Paul said, you would use an interchange, right? And an interchange is obviously where all the cars are just disappearing off, and then you're picking up cars that are coming onto your railroad. I would probably set that up as a staging yard. I think you have, Paul, right? You've set that up as a staging yard on your map, so it instantly processes the waybills, and they're all taken care of. Barges as well. You can do barges as a staging yard as well. So let me continue operating Pine Hill, and then we'll get into the fundamentals of creating a waybill and stuff like that. So so I'm going to leave these two here because they're westbound, and I'll pick those up westbound. I need to deliver these. I've got 2 for the machine shop. In fact, let me just have a quick look and see how many cars I've got. What I went here is the location cars, and this shows me all the cars that are currently sitting at this location. So I can actually check on this. Fishmonger, Harold and James 1, 2, machine shop 3, and bakery 4. Okay, so there's 4 cars already in there, and I know that can handle 5 cars. So I'm going to have to off spot, and this is what I said about if it doesn't fit. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do an off spot just so you can see how it works. So for instance, I can put box 803 into the machine shop, and I can set that out into the machine shop, and I've done that. Okay, I can then do the fishmonger. I can put that car reefer 130 into the fishmonger spot. It's empty at the moment, so I'll set that out. Now, say I can't deliver this to the machine shop because the machine shop's not quite ready for it yet. It needs to be delivered to the location, but what I do is I press off spot. Okay, so I have told the system that I haven't delivered that yet. I've put it off spot, but it's going to be left at Pine Hill. Okay, I'm not going to take it with me. I've dropped it off at Pine Hill, which means on our operations screen now, that's going to be shown up as a yellow. Remember, we had the reds for set out, the greens are our pickups. You have a yellow for move. Now, that's off spot. So that's sitting at this location, waiting to go into the machine shop. Now, I would obviously look to see if the machine shop has space for it every time I see one of these off spots. If it doesn't, just leave it. The system will take care of it for you. But if there is space at the machine shop, then by all means, pick it up and put it in the machine shop, and then tell the system that you've now delivered it. And it will start the process of delivering these damaged tools to the machine shop. It would start that process automatically. So all you're doing is telling it what you're doing. The system takes care of all the commodities, all the waybills, where the cars are, how long they stay there, what they do next. The system takes care of all of that for you. Okay, so we're going to leave that there for now. I'm now going to go from Pine Hill up to Walnut Ridge. Right, so I've got 2 gondolas to pick up. Both are from, they're both from the coal tipple. Okay, so I look in the coal tipple and I find car 908 and 916, 2 gondolas, and I pull those out. I know this is going to Rockwood. Well, this is the end of the line, Walnut Ridge, so I'm picking everything up. So I can pick that up from the track. I can pick that up from the track. And then I deliver what I have on board. Now, what I have on board is 1 for the coal tipple. Again, remember, my coal tipple is 3 tracks, so I can deliver it to any one of the 3 tracks that's available. It doesn't matter, because a coal tipple will fill up empty gondolas no matter where they are on the coal tipple. So at the grain elevator, I have 1 track that holds 7 covered hoppers, and I move 1 up at a time to either fake empty with full or load with flour, malt, etc. to go to the brewery or baking company. You can do that. You can do that with off-spotting, right? So what you could do is you could basically have a track with one spot to load, right? And again, TrainWaybills will actually simulate this for you. And then what you could do is you could deliver one that starts getting loaded and off-spot the others, right? So they're not delivered yet. Next time you arrive at that location, it depends how quickly you set the waybills for, and I will show you that in a minute. You can actually set that one for pickup, and then you can then, one of the ones that were off-spotted, you can now say, I've put that now into position, and it will start unloading that, yeah? So you can actually use TrainWaybills to do your you said you fake it. TrainWaybills will actually make that a real thing. It would actually be doing that for you. I would say it'll be quite a slow process if you're okay with that, because it will only do it every time you turn up to the location. You'll just be shuffling one along. If what you're saying is, I've got 7 cars, I'm going to deliver all 7, but I'm going to put one in, I'm then going to take that out, I'm then going to put another one in. If that's what you're saying, then yes, you would simulate that yourself. But you can get, if you want it to actually, the cards to take care of it for you, you could do that. You then have a track next to that holds 12 covered hoppers, and just bringing that string to the mill track for loading or unloading. Yeah. Yeah. So when would you? So you say you have a track next to that holds 12 covered. So you dump the 12 covered hoppers in, and you bring that string to the mill track and load them, and then what, you would take them with you? It's interesting knowing your process. So you wouldn't actually leave them at the location and disappear. You would actually turn up with them and then pull them into the mill track. I think that's what you're saying. And then take them with you straight away. This requires you to actually drop something off. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to turn up with some stuff, push it through a loader or unloader, and then take it away with you again. We don't have that ability yet. Like an instant process. I don't know if does that happen in the real world? I guess it does with coal cars, right? You would actually turn up with all your coal cars and sort of push them through the coal loader, and then. But I don't think you then disappear with them, right? They then get put into a track, and you take some other ones with you. So yeah, you probably, what you would do is you would drop them off, set them out. You could operate them as in put them into the mill track to be loaded or unloaded, and then put them back in that track and leave them there for the next time you arrive, and then they'll be available to pick up. Again, I'll show you how to do an instant pickup. Let me just drop these off. So air filters for the team track, I can set that out. Beer for the team track, very important. I'll set that out. And then wooden support beams for the team track, I'll set that out. We've got 4 cars on board. I can actually check those. We actually didn't need to bring these 2 with us, but we did. But as you see, I've got nothing else to do at Walnut Ridge. I'm going to head back because I'm doing a turn. I'm heading back to Pine Hill. Okay. I've got some coal to drop off at the grab loader. You see, I'll just pick that up, and I've now got to drop it off at Pine Hill. So what I can do is I can pick this up from the fishmonger, pick this up from the machine shop. Oh, look, we're freeing up a spot at the machine shop. Do you remember what I said? So what I can do is, I'm picking this up from the machine shop. I now have room to put this in. So now I can move this into the machine shop. Now it will start the process of that car. And then I can set this out to the grab loader. Again, empty switch list. I'm now done at Pine Hill. Pine Meadows. There's the one that we left for the westbound. So I'm going to pick that up. And then we've got some fish meal to deliver to the farm general track and set that out. And that's all done. We're taking 5 cars back with us. And now I'm going to head back to the classification yard and I'll show you how to do classification. Okay. Again, just give me a second. I'm getting disrupted by some very loud noises. I think it's actually outside. I don't know what's going on, but there's some very loud noises outside. I thought it was in the house, but it's not. It's far away, but it's some quite disturbing noises. Just one sec. Right. Yep. I confirmed it is coming from outside, so I don't need to worry about it. Right. Okay. So as I said, I'm now going to finish this consist that I have. Let's just have a look what we've got before we go into the classification yard, because what's going to happen is as soon as I arrive at the classification yard, the system is automatically going to take care of all these cars for us. So we've got this reefer coming back empty. We've got this reefer coming back empty. We've got a stock car coming back empty. We've got a box car that's actually going to the team track at High Creek Yard. So what you're going to see is when we arrive, that's going to actually turn up as a set out, and it's got tools on board. And then we've got a gondola that's going to go to the Rockwood subdivision. So let's see what happens to these two reefers and this stock car, because they'll probably get waybills, and then we'll see this one appear as a set out. So we're going to go from Pine Meadows. And like I say, this is what would happen to you if you went to your location or your other location. You'll see all the cars automatically get taken care of for you. So High Creek Yard, there we go. There's the reefer. Now what's happened is this one of those reefers that was empty has been given a waybill to be dropped off at High Creek Yard empty. So because it's done that for me, it's now showing up in my operations to actually set it out at the cold store and warehouse empty. So it's obviously going to pick up some cold store stuff. And again, the system has done all that for me. I don't have to worry about, dealing with cars. I don't have to deal with cards or waybills or anything like that. This system is doing all of that for you. So now you're being given instructions on where to put that car, at this location. The location, remember, is High Creek Yard. The track or the spot is the cold store and warehouse. So I can set that out. I can deliver this box to the team track with some new tools. So that's going to get set out. And then what we've got left is, these have been given as well. So I think the gondola already was going to Rockwood subdivision. This reefer was empty. This is now been given to go to the food processing warehouse empty. And Pine Meadows, this is going to go back to the stock pens empty. It's been given a new order. So I can now classify these. Now, when it comes to classification yards, as you saw, as we went up the line, when we'd finished, this screen was blank, right? We'd taken care of all our, we've done all our setups, we've done all our pickups, we've done all the moves, there's nothing left to do. But because this is a classification yard, we now have the ability to classify our trains. And the way to do that is you would go to your consist. So these are the cars that I have on board. We have a new system, by the way. If you hold this top part, if they're in the wrong order, you can actually reorganize them like so. Yeah. You can put them into a new order. And when you finish, you hold that. Again, that may be changing later on. So that's how it is at the moment, but it may be changing. So now what I can do is I can classify these. So I've got my 3 cars here. And this all depends on how you run your layout. You may want to just keep these cars and carry on up the road. You're going to have to redesign. No, you shouldn't have to redesign your layout. You shouldn't have to redesign your layout. Keep the layout as it is. The layout is the layout. This is taking care of the operations for you. And I'll show you that. Once I've done this, I'll show you how to set all the waybills up. It's real easy. Yeah, it's a little, anything's a learning curve. You know, when you first went from DC to DCC, there was a learning curve there, right? So these things have chips in. I've got to program them, but now it's second nature. You get a new loco, you've got a DCC chip in it. I know how to put the number on it. I know how to set up the sounds. I know how to set up, speed curves and all this kind of stuff. It's all a learning curve. But let me tell you, when it comes to operating, TrainWaybills is a lot easier than actually building the car cards themselves and waybills and operating them. That can be real difficult. And it's more difficult as well is if you share your layout with other operators. When they come to your layout, you would have to give them a crash course in how to deal with the cards on your layout, when to turn the waybills over. You know, what to do once a waybill's finished, etc., etc. Like, you'd have to physically put a new waybill in it. This system, you just say, just if it says set out, set it out. If it says pick up, pick it up, and that's it. It's really that simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to push our Rockwood subdivisions. So I'm going to take Gondola 908. I'm going to park classify it. By the way, just quickly, this report enables us to see how busy coal loading is currently. So I can do a report. It's actually telling me there's insufficient. Okay, so let's have a detailed show. This is going to Rockwood subdivision. I've just picked this up from the coal tipple, if you remember. It's full of coal. It's going to coal unloading. I can do a report. This is telling me that there's actually insufficient space for this to go. So I actually don't want to take this with me, right? But I have to look at where the other cars are coming from. Right, so currently the spot length of this, and you don't have to do this, by the way. This is if you set up your system fully and you want the system to take care of off-spotting for you. If you don't deal with off-spots, don't worry about this part, all right? This is just if you want to get in real deep with it and you want it to take care of everything. So my track length, it's actually 2 tracks, and the total length of the 2 tracks is 262 feet, which is basically 10 cars plus 2 feet extra. So I've currently got cars at the spot. There's already 10 cars there. So my coal unloading at Rockwood subdivision is currently full up. Okay, so technically it can't take any more cars. But this is also telling me that the cars ready for departure are 2. So there's going to be 2 to be picked up. So I know that there's space for 2 more cars to go in when I pick those 2 up. But there's 3 cars that are inbound on the entire system. So what we do is look at where they're coming from. So currently off spot at Rockwood subdivision. Right. So what happened is on last session, somebody else couldn't deliver one of the coal wagons, and it's sitting at Rockwood waiting to go in. That's what this second car is. So we're going to have to deliver that one. That's fine. That's already there. The in transit is 908. That's the car that we currently have. All right. So we can take that with us to Rockwood sub. And the reason why we can take it with us is this 913 is at Walnut Ridge coal tipple. Well, that's all the way back up the main line. That's not going to be coming anytime soon. So I know that we're going to go to Rockwood next, and I can take these 2 knowing full well that it's going to fit. This part of TrainWaybills is if you want to get more advanced with off-spotting, classifying, and all this kind of stuff. So if you operate a large layout with a Yardmaster, this thing is very valuable to you, and I'm glad we added it. And I know, Paul, you're a big advocate of having all these reports and stuff like that, and I'm glad that we did it, because I can see someone using this to their advantage when they've got a massive yard and they're trying to classify all their cars and making sure that all the cars that they're classifying can get to their destination, etc. So I don't have to worry about 913 because that's not on its way. So I know that I can now park or classify this train, and it gives you all the tracks that are at this place. I want to put this at Rockwood subdivision track. I go in there and it's done. I've put that in the track and I've delivered that to Rockwood subdivision. Now, if I look at my consist, remember when we started, the Rockwood subdivision track now has 7 cars in it, not 6. Yeah. So now I've just added to that 6. And as you see, if I go back to my consist, we've got another one for Rockwood. So I can then, again, physically on the layout, I would take that reefer, I would push it into the Rockwood sub classification track that I've allocated. I would push it in there with the others. It would disappear from my consist, and as you see, Rockwood subdivision track now has 8 cars in it. So as you see, what I'm doing is I'm building a train that's going to Rockwood with all cars that are going to Rockwood. Yeah, and that's how you would do classifying. Oh, I need to go to your consist. And this one's for Pine Meadows, which is a main line, so I can park that in the main. And I can see on my consist that the main just has 1 car in it, and I'll see that on the track. It's only got 1 car. That's the only one that we've put in there. Okay. There is empties here, and you can check the empties. You have to check the empties because what happens is, because I'm doing the more advanced version of TrainWaybills, you can, as I say, you can use TrainWaybills in its basic form. Just ignore everything I'm doing here with classification. You don't need to have any of that if you don't want it. But the empties are, a place is full up. It can't do off-spotting. So because there's nowhere else for this car that's sitting in the empties, because there's nowhere for it to go, we haven't got any more orders for it. It's going to sit in the yard empty until we have an order ready for it. And we can check that. So we can go to location cars. We can scroll through till we find our empties car, and it is a Rockwood train. It's now been given a waybill. Yeah, can you see here where it says where it's parked? Horseshoe Falls, and this is our empties track. So that 1 car, 405, is now wanting to go to Rockwood. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. You just do what it tells you. Now, again, we can do another report. We can find out if the lumber yard is ready for it. So I can do a report. And as you see, space on arrival, there's going to be 98 feet free when I arrive. So that's fine. We can take that. So what I can do is I can pull myself into the empties track. I can pick up car 405 like that. And as you see, I've got 1 car. I can now go to my consist, which is showing you the cars that I currently have. Here it is. And I can now park that in the Rockwood track. Right? So I've pulled it from the empties track and I've put it in the Rockwood track. So now you'll see Rockwood has 9 cars. That's a nice, healthy, long train to go to Rockwood. And we can do Rockwood in a moment. But I would like to just briefly, because we're already at an hour, so I just want to briefly show you how to set up complicated waybills, because this has been a problem for some people to work out how waybills work, and I think this actually may benefit some people watching now, because especially if they're not coming from any kind of operating system or coming from a switch list to how waybills work. So I just want to show you how they work. So I'm going to actually show you how to set up a waybill on our system. So we're not going to edit an existing, we're going to create a new one. So I just press create. And the first thing we do is we set up our waybill options. So the car type is basically the type of car that you want to build a waybill for. So like you were saying earlier about your covered hoppers, I don't actually have any covered hoppers, so I can't do that for you. But say I want to do a reefer. Let's just do a reefer. So this would be, you know, you selecting covered hoppers. And again, this car type you would design in the system yourself. When you're setting up your cars, you would design covered hoppers. Yeah. You tell the system how many of these waybills you want, and this determines the probability that your cars will get them. So, for instance, if I say, right, I want 5 of these available at any one time, it's only got a 16% probability of being assigned to a covered hopper, or in this case, a reefer. Yeah. So this is another good thing about the system, is you can set this to whatever you like. Yeah. I can make this 99 waybills. I can make it more. I can, you know, actually, no, sorry, 99 is the maximum. I'd have to make another set of 99. But if I made it 99 waybills, which is a hell of a lot of waybills, I would have a 79% probability of this particular waybill that we're going to make being assigned to my, in this case, my reefers. I don't want that. I just want this to be like a small one. So it's going to be a 9%. If it's a repeating waybill, you may want a shuttle service. For instance, if you've got specific cars that all they do is go back and forth, and they do nothing else, you can make this repeating, which means that waybill will never leave that car. It will just go backwards and forwards, and it will just do that shuttle service for you. So quite handy if you've got that kind of thing. I actually like a variety, so I don't use repeating waybills. I'd like this reefer to do maybe a few jobs, but then being given another job to go somewhere else. I kind of like that variation. Some people like to have a car just go back and forth. You can also make this a rare waybill, which is quite interesting in our system. Now, when you have physical car cards and waybills, I've actually got one here, like this. You have a waybill in there, right? Now, when you run out of waybills, what happens is you just basically put all the previous waybills back in the pool, or you take from a pile of previous waybills, and you run your layout with all these waybills, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. Our advanced accounts allow you to have what's called rare waybills. Now, rare waybills are not constantly available. What they will do is the system will randomly, and you don't know when this is going to be. It could be a week, 2 weeks. It could be tomorrow. It could be in the next minute. It depends how many waybills you actually have. But this will inject it into your system at a random time. So you get a surprise. You go, oh, I forgot I had this waybill. Or you could actually use it to your advantage for doing defects, which a lot of people don't simulate on their layout. When you have a defective car and you need to send it back to a rip track or something like that, you can simulate all of that with this. You don't have to roll a dice. You don't have to have any electronics that tell you when you have a defective card. You can actually use rare waybills to do that for you. And I'll give you an example of that. For instance, if we just want to make one waybill, and what's going to happen is at a random time, this waybill is going to be put into your system for a reefer, and it's basically going to say, so there's various ways you can do this. So in this situation, I can say, I want this reefer to go to High Creek Yard. I want it to go to the repair in place track. Obviously, it's going to be empty at this point. And I want this to have a very long turnaround. And if that's all we did for our waybill, one single instruction, once this is put into the pool, which again can be completely random, it could be ages and ages and ages until you get this, but all of a sudden this reefer will come up and say, take this car to High Creek Yard. Or if it's already at High Creek Yard, it's going to say, move this car from wherever it is at the moment and put it in the rip track, and I'm going to keep it there for a very long time. And what that's doing is it's simulating that car being found to be broken, and it's going to sit in the rip trap to be repaired. And you can put special instructions, in here, and that will actually show up on the waybill itself. So you can actually put your own defect in there, repair hotbox, for example, right? So you can actually do whatever you want to do, and it will, like I say, it will appear on the waybill. Oh, it's a hotbox been detected, so it needs to go to the rip track to be repaired. And like I say, once the system's finished with that car, this waybill will be removed from the reefer. If it's at a location where it's going to get a new waybill, it will be given a new waybill to go off and do something else, assuming that it's now been repaired. Yeah. The problem with that is that can happen straight away. What we might want to do is actually, no worries. Yeah, watch the video. Yeah, no worries. So we might want to give this a fake destination. So we can say, right, go to Pine Hill, put it in barge loading, empty. Actually, let's go and pick something up first. Let's go to Pine Meadows. Let's go to the farm track, empty. Let's give this a faster turnaround. Let's now go to Pine Hill. Let's go to the barge loading track with let's say some dairy. So it's come from the general track. So I say it's got some dairy produce. But what we're going to do is we're going to give this an express turnaround, because what we want to happen is we're going to dump it at the barge track, but we want it to say on the next train that's coming, the next instruction is actually going to be High Creek Yard, repair in place. It can be emptied at that point, or you can leave the dairy on board if you really want. And then a very long time. So in this case, it's going to go to Pine Meadows. It's going to pick something up, right? It's then going to go to Pine Hill. It's going to get delivered to the barge track. But then on the next time a train arrives, it's going to say, we've found a problem with this car. We want you to take it all the way back to High Creek Yard to the rip track to be repaired. Now, if this had dairy on board, what we can do is we can also say, once it's been repaired, do what it was originally going to do. Take it back to the barge loading track and give it a standard turnaround or whatever you want it to do. So we've actually given this quite an interesting scenario, which you wouldn't be able to do with normal car cards. Remember, this is going to be completely random because it's a rare waybill. So it's going to go to Pine Meadows, empty. It's then going to go Pine Hill, barge loading with some dairy. A defect's going to be found. It's going to be taken back to the rip track for a long turnaround. Hopefully the dairy produce will be okay, right? It's in a reefer, so it should be okay. And then we're going to take it once it's been repaired. Again, this might be a quick repair. We could actually say this is a fast repair. Oh, that's a simple one. I don't want it to sit there for ages. We just want, again, fully customizable. And then we actually want to deliver this dairy. We're going to take it to Pine Hill, barge loading, to the dairy track. And we can also give it another one. We could do something like this. High Creek Yard, because this has been sat around for a while. We could then take it to the icing track. Yeah, to be re-iced. So this is just one waybill, remember. This is doing a whole thing with this one car. And once it's done, the car would then be put into the regular circulation and pick up a regular waybill, etc., etc. So this is some of the advanced features that you can use on TrainWaybills when it comes to custom creating waybills themselves. Rather than just pick something up, drop something off, this can create a whole load of interest to your system. So I hope that all makes sense. Is there anything anyone wanted me to particularly show them before I go? I'm gonna wrap this stream up for now. But is there anything someone particularly wanted me to show them? Let me just take a drink of water. And what I say, these are going to be more sort of workshop type deals. So if you wanted to ask any questions about TrainWaybills, give me a particular scenario that you want to know how to complete, or how to set something in particular up. I can demonstrate this on a workshop. What I might actually do is take the questions before I do a live stream and then demonstrate them on the live stream. I'm hoping to do this on the the first and third Saturday of every month. I'm not sure yet. We're going to sort of tweak it as TrainWaybills becomes more and more popular. This will probably be a bigger interest to a lot more people. It's going to interest me to be given situations. Right. I want TrainWaybills to do this for me. Can you show me how I would set that up? And I'll show you how to set that up. We might even need to start a new layout for some people if they want a particular thing to be set up. So yeah, but apart from that, I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope it's made a lot of sense to some of you. Yeah, so I want to thank you all for coming, and like the video, subscribe, tell people about TrainWaybills, because I haven't done any marketing for it really. I'm too busy sort of actually trying to create it for myself and the people that are currently using TrainWaybills. I'm trying to sort of add more features to it, make it better and better, and then we're going to do a big advertising drive at some point. But for now, I'm just keeping it to this group of people that are interested in, you know, kind of beta testing it, but giving it a test drive and giving me some ideas on what they want. Quite interesting, actually, Paul. Someone said about car weights. Yes, you just said it. They said about adding to the cars themselves. If I just pick a car in example, is to add the weight of the car empty. And then when you actually come to design a waybill, let me just take a random waybill. In here, where you've actually got a commodity of damaged goods, for example, you would actually have to put a weight of that commodity. Again, it's going to be optional. You don't have to use it, but you could put a weight. And then when you look at your consist, it will actually give you a consist weight. Some people like to simulate that because they want to know how many locos to put on their system, or on their consist and things like that, if they need a helper, etc., etc. So they have specific things that if their train is of a certain weight, you have to have a helper on the back. So that would be interesting to add to the system. I don't want to overload it. So what I'd probably do is I would probably put that in the layout settings or something like that to add as, you know, something that you can add. You could, yeah, or limit the train based on weight, yeah. You would probably have to do a lot of calculating. That would probably be location cars. It might have to say, yeah, like livestock. You could actually put in there how much it weighs. But it'd have to take the weight of the car plus the weight of the commodity. You could also do less than carload with that as well. So you can add, you know, how much the weight, you could add up the weights as the car goes along on the waybill. For example, when you actually set the waybill up, where's my trash gondola? Did I actually set it up on this one? Yeah, this one. So where this goes along all the places, picking up general trash, right? You could add, you know, this is going to be like 1 ton, 2 tons, 4 tons, you know, and you could basically have less than carload, but as you go along, it builds up the weight. So that could be quite interesting. Car images is I'm going to work on very shortly. That's actually going to be a new thing that I'm going to be working on shortly. So yeah, don't worry about that. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here for now. Thank you all for coming. I'll advertise when I'm doing another stream, and what I'll probably do is pick up questions as I go along, and then I'll answer them in the stream. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're not using TrainWaybills, it's completely free. We've actually increased it so you can use up to 40 cars now for free. And you know, you don't have to pay at all. You can just try it out, have a go. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But more than likely, it probably will give you more interest if you're not using anything at the moment. And if you've just got a small layout, then you probably won't need anything else, and you probably never have to pay, which is a bonus for you guys. But anyway, thanks for coming, and yeah, I'll speak to you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
You